Fingers off, please, everyone. Now.
I'm just going to say it from the heart. We have to do something, we have to make an actual change. And that change might take who knows how long. It really all depends on you guys at this point. Because there is a lack of student turnout, and I agree. And that's why if no one is going to make an effort to actually make it very public and to make it out forward and that you actually know when this is happening, then in that case I think it's up to the students who are actually here to actually make it official and tell others that it's happening, because otherwise we are not going to have anything change. So when you're thinking...
I'd like to address the democratic deficit I'm seeing in this debate. I'm looking out at a crowd that is about the same size as the one I saw at Glendon, but I'm currently on a campus that is at least, well over 10 times the size of Glendon. This turnout is, quite frankly, pathetic. For the few non-candidates that are here, I implore you to talk to your friends, to tell them about the debates, well, there aren't anymore, but tell them about the candidates, tell them to get out and vote, and help increase the turnout. I am very disheartened by what I see here. Votez Bloc.
Job in terms of advertising the debates so far. And in regards to the paper ballots, I think the YFS follows the democratic process of Elections Canada, so I think they do a pretty good job. But if you want to fix any of those problems, you could talk to the Elections Committee, I guess.
I spoke about this at the Glendon debate, which was also very poorly attended. I believe that, yeah, these events should be well advertised, they should be streamed live, they should be recorded. I believe that the same promotion that we do to the Drop Freeze campaign, the No Bottle Water campaign, yeah, we should put into a forum that discusses election issues. And for me, it says a lot about, yeah, you have to ask the question, why is this system in place, right?
Will you put the budget online? Why or why not?
Well, I think for one, if it's it's your money, yes, it has to go online. This is something that it's supposed to be student knowledge. This shouldn't be something that's secretive. And so, really, all that there is to say is that yes, we should put it online. There should be no reason why we shouldn't.
I agree. We should absolutely put the budget online.
Yes, we should put the budget online. Thank you.
I was familiar with the campaign of You First last year, and I remember that they also had a plank on their platform to put the budget online. My question is it's two-tiered. One is for the incumbent candidate and one is for the prospective candidates. For the incumbent candidate, how can you justify not putting the budget online for so many years? Can you promise to put up not only the budget, but your list of expenditures that you actually make, maybe quarterly, monthly, balance sheets, cash flow statements? We're all part of this union. We all deserve to know. My question balance sheets, cash flow statements, anything you can do, because anything is better than nothing and anything is better than anything less in terms of accountability and openness to the members of the union that you're supposed to represent. What's your plan for those kind of things?
So my plan to make the budget more accessible?
Budget, cash flow, anything and everything.
Great. I think it's definitely important as Vice President of Operations to have an open line of communications with all individuals that are concerned about the expenditures of the Federation, and that's why I think it's important to promote my email, if elected, and promote the contact information for the democratically elected representatives to ensure that individuals can ask any sticky questions they might have, and I can also personally go over the budget to explain individual expenditures and make sure that folks know exactly what's going on and exactly where their money's going. I also think it's important that folks identify where the budget is accessible. So if it's posted online, if it's available in the York Federation of Students office, and also ensuring that there's ample communication about what exactly the budget looks like. Oftentimes, different line items can be a little sticky to understand, so I think it's important that students have as much access and accessible access to the budget as possible. Thank you so much.
Okay, sorry. If we can understand the Canadian national federal budget, I have full confidence that students can understand the YFS budget. I think that having simply an email of correspondence is not enough accountability. I think it's important that we have a completely new organization on board. I think it's time for a fresh change where students can feel represented. The fact of the matter is, the budget has not been posted online. It hasn't happened, and this is something that's a great concern, clearly, to many students, including myself and our team, and I absolutely agree. We should have quarterly budgets posted. As Emil has discussed already, we will have even our weekly agendas posted online so that we can have accountability, accessibility for all students.
So just like the last point, yeah, we need to have a new organization with the YFS because obviously something is not going right. So what I plan to do, or if I get elected, hopefully, is pretty much have an archive of all the receipts, all of the budget plans, because really, if we're just taking the word of somebody that is emailing it to us, I mean, that can only go so far. I mean, we can put whatever we want, really, right? So, at this point, what I can tell you right now is that if we can have an archive, a receipt of all the budget, an agenda where we can actually see what is going to happen, what are we spending our money on, then in that case we're taking a step forward to progress, something that we can actually look forward to as a better union and as a better student foundation. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk investments, let's talk money. According to this excellent piece of investigative journalism that Excalibur published a year ago, almost this week, the YFS wasted an estimated over $100,000 of student money on a canceled concert. Now, despite the fact that this only came to light 6 months after the incident, and that the student money is what finances these concerts, that the YFS dishonestly markets to students as free, the YFS took the easy, discursive way out, blaming their non-disclosure on legal reasons. My point, this corrupt student union has no right and absolutely no moral authority to call out administration on their spending nor their investments. On the contrary, students like Bisma Versat are actually interested in how the YFS conducts their investments. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. The YFS should have the decency to refrain from pointing fingers until they have cleaned up their act and disclosed themselves financially to the stakeholders, the students.
Okay, so I have an issue with the election practices of the YFS. So for example, how the debates are held in the back room of Underground, for example, and how they're not held, for example, in the Student Center or Berry Hall, and for some reason, they're very poorly advertised. I mean, you can't even find out about the elections on the website, in the newsletter that they...
City should invest in companies that promote, produce weapons.
Yeah, so that's actually one of my campaign points, divestment from weapon manufacturing companies. York does currently invest in weapon manufacturing companies, and this affects students and their families, and by investing in these companies, it does a disservice to those families on the front lines. York University, the YFS, Student Action, myself, we're all committed to fighting back against all forms of repression, and this is one way we could.
Investing in things like this can only create harm, and I believe that nobody should invest, not even universities, because the students that come here, it is believed that they also are, supportive of the administration, and if this is what the administration does, it's a shame. So I'm strongly against investing in weapons.
Since day one, the BDS movement has been deemed controversial, radical, and oftentimes racist. It is not a social justice movement. It is a movement deemed to be anti-Semitic and divisive and unhelpful to both the Israelis and the Palestinians. It is not something that has a place on this campus. It is a divisive tactic, and it speaks to what I was talking about the York Federation of Students taking sides. Now this campus is rife with political and ethnic tension, all to the detriment of the campus atmosphere. You can help the Palestinians and the Israelis. You can do it both. You can lift the Palestinians up without tearing the Israelis down. Now on to professionalism. The current methodology used by activists in the YFS are deeply flawed and woefully ineffective. Lower tuition is a priority, and that is fine. I went to a drop fees event when I was in first year. That was in 2012, February 2012. Here we are in 2015, and the YFS Day of Action is going to be upon us again in March. Yet the YFS is not any more closer to their goals now than they were in 2012. The reason is simple. This province does not take loud, radical, angry students seriously. Neither does the administration. When the YFS takes hundreds of lower tuition now Christmas cards to dump at Dr. Shugri's office, that line of communication, of professional communication, has been cut. And the YFS will not be taken seriously. It's disrespectful and unprofessional. The province and York's administration does not take us seriously. And because of the illiberal mandatory student participation in the YFS, coupled with the ridiculous flaws in collective representation, it means me and the other 99% of students aren't taken seriously either. The YFS uses student money to pack students onto buses so that they can holler at the premier. It's wasteful and it's not accomplishing anything. Haranguing and personally attacking Dr. Shugri is an embarrassment. We need a more professional approach to these issues. Radical student action has yielded nothing. I want to be taken seriously, so do the majority of students who didn't come here to protest.
Frankly, I would love to see fees dropped, but to be honest, the YFS is an organization that, although it is elected by students, is not usually seen as having all students behind them, and thus its ability to lobby the government is greatly diminished. If we increase our democracy, if we engage students, we can be seen as a more legitimate student voice and can lobby the government better. Otherwise, the only other way I can see for the YFS to drop student fees is to simply disband itself, eliminate its levy fees, and drop the fees that way. Thank you.
Who's the Vice President Campaign's Advocacy Commissioner this year, and also volunteering with the YFS last year. I actually had the great honor of working with students one-on-one during the Hike Stops Here campaign, which is one of the new campaigns that we've been working on, and also during the Education Coalitions, having conversations with students, because I feel like as a student myself, my voice is heard by the YFS, and working with students one-on-one is the reason why we created the Holiday Action Campaign, where we dropped off 20,000 petitions that were students signed to Mundu Shukri, because in a meeting he did state that show me the petitions, and that was showed to him, and now it is in process right now. So we do feel like students are initiating these movements, and students' concerns are being heard.
That issue is actually very important. Obviously, people have been pressing on it, especially if you're going to promise or advocate for it. So I guess my only reply would be that I think it's really important for people to, or I guess the student government, to advocate for things that they have direct power in. I think it's great that students have a chance for representation towards these kind of things, but in addressing whether or not there's going to be something different or something else to advocate for, I think it's important to be very honest to your students about how much power you have in actually achieving those goals, and from there kind of advocate for things, again, that like she said, you speak to other people and kind of see what their aims are, but also addressing certain issues that you know you can directly solve yourself or within the Federation. Thank you.